Welcome to our latest video, 10 Facts about the Race to Combat Global Warming. In this comprehensive guide, we're diving deep into the urgent fight against climate change, shedding light on some sobering realities, yet offering glimpses of hope too. From the fast-depleting global carbon budget to the growing prominence of green investments, we'll deliver crucial insights on where we currently stand and the necessary steps required to safeguard our planet for future generations. Stay tuned as we embark on this crucial journey together. 1. We have less than a decade to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees C. The clock is ticking in the race against global warming, and the message from scientists is clear. Urgent action is required. We have less than 10 years to limit the global temperature rise to 1.5 degrees above pre-industrial levels. This figure comes from numerous research studies emphasizing the necessity to prevent the planet from experiencing catastrophic impacts. Exceeding this threshold could lead to severe environmental disruptions, including more frequent and intense weather events like hurricanes and droughts. It's much like steering a massive ship that needs advance notice to change direction. Delaying action reduces our ability to avoid disaster. Current policies and measures, while helpful, are insufficient in keeping global warming within safe limits unless significantly escalated. 2. Over 80% of the world's energy still comes from fossil fuels. Despite the buzz around solar panels and wind turbines, fossil fuels remain the giant in the energy sector. Over 80% of the world's energy requirements are still met by coal, oil, and natural gas. Transitioning from this fossil-heavy diet to a more sustainable one requires more than just intention. It demands accelerated adoption and innovation in renewable energy technologies. Maureen Smith, a climate expert, likens it to shifting the dietary habits of a population accustomed to fast food. It requires time and commitment. Currently, renewable energy sources like wind and solar only form a small slice of the global energy pie as compared to non-renewables. Swift and dramatic changes are needed in energy generation to meet climate targets effectively. 3. The global carbon budget is depleting fast. The concept of a carbon budget isn't just a neat metaphor. It's an actual framework that helps us understand our limits on carbon emissions. With our current emission rates, we are rapidly closing the door on the so-called safe limit set to expire by 2030. To put it into perspective, think of it like having a capped credit card. Once you hit the limit, you're financially strained until more credit is available. However, unlike credit, the Earth's carbon budget does not reset each month. Exceeding this limit brings irreversible climate consequences, which no financial bailout can fix. This urgency compels governments and corporations to implement stricter emission regulations and transition strategies as the budget depletes. 4. Climate financing for developing countries is lagging behind. Developing nations, which stand on the front lines of climate impacts, urgently require financial support. Rich countries had promised an annual aid package of $100 billion by 2020. Yet, years later, those pledges remain largely unmet, leaving vulnerable nations grappling with insufficient resources to adapt to climate changes. Imagine promising a lifeboat to a sinking ship, but only offering half the rescue equipment on time. The lack of adequate funding not only hampers immediate relief efforts, but also stunts long-term planning and resilience building. Notably, the costs of inaction can be far heftier than the efforts needed for preparedness and adaptation, intensifying the call for expedited financial aid. 5. Electric vehicles could cut global emissions by 10% by 2050. Transportation remains a significant pillar in global emissions, but electric vehicles, EVs, present a golden opportunity for improvement. Experts predict a 10% reduction in global emissions if widespread adoption of EVs occurs by 2050. Think of EVs as newfound fitness routines for the world's transportation systems, promising a healthier, more sustainable future. While advances in EV battery technology, charging infrastructure, and grid capacity are keys to success, consumer adoption and incentives play equally critical roles. Transitioning from traditional internal combustion engines to EVs resembles swapping a slow-moving river for a bustling highway. Both are technically feasible, but require proper planning and resources. 6. More than 3 billion people are highly vulnerable to climate change. A staggering number of people, over 3 billion, are living in regions where the threat of climate change looms large. These communities, primarily in low-income countries, face disproportionate risks compared to wealthier regions. Consider it as a scenario where people with fewer resources need to fortify against a storm faster than those with robust defenses. This inequity underscores the need for equitable climate policies, ensuring that protective measures aren't just the privilege of the wealthy. Governments and humanitarian organizations strive to implement projects enhancing resilience, but persistent challenges highlight the necessity for worldwide solidarity in combating climate impacts. 7. Cities produce over 70% of global CO2 emissions. Urban centers, the beating hearts of modern civilization, are unfortunately also the lungs from which much CO2 is exhaled. With over 70% of global emissions originating from cities, targeting urban areas for reduction plans is vital. Imagine a bustling metropolis filled with cars and power plants. It's similar to a perpetually burning candle, providing light but also heat. From transport to housing, every facet of city life offers a chance for cleaner, greener practices. Innovations in public transportation, energy-efficient buildings, and green spaces are vital for lowering emissions and curbing the long-term climate impacts cities are imposing. 8. Methane is over 25 times more potent than CO2. Methane may not often dominate climate discussions like CO2, but it demands attention because of its potency, over 25 times more impactful in trapping heat. Methane emissions arise largely from agriculture and fossil fuel extraction. Tackling methane leaks and aiming for mitigation actions can offer rapid climatic results. Picture methane as the sneaky pollutant that quietly raises the temperature while everyone else guards against CO2. Measures like improving agricultural practices and curbing waste can significantly lower methane emissions and collectively contribute to stabilizing global temperatures faster than CO2 reductions might alone. 9. 100 companies are responsible for over 70% of global emissions. Just a small fraction of companies bear the bulk of responsibility for releasing Earth-warming gases. Astonishingly, 100 companies contribute to over 70% of global emissions. This statistic is akin to finding that most of an overcrowded closet is cluttered by 100 massively overfilled boxes. The spotlight, therefore, is rightly on corporate accountability and regulatory frameworks, aiming to make these companies more environmentally conscious. Regulation and public pressure can enforce stricter emission reduction strategies, with technology and eco-friendly initiatives strengthening their resolve to contribute positively. 10. Green investments are growing but need to triple by 2030. While the growth of green investments is encouraging, it's apparent they're not yet meeting the required scale. By 2030, investments need to triple to align goals with planetary safety. Visualize this as preparing for a marathon but training only half as much. You simply won't finish the race without stepping up efforts dramatically. Channels for funding renewable energy, reforestation, and adaptation projects need expansion and prioritization. The benefits of a greener economic focus also extend beyond environmental and climate dividends, creating jobs and fostering innovation, urging all corners of society to rethink investment strategies.